IVM.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
Alright, hello, welcome to Football Bottle. My name is Saru. It's such a bad day to lose your voice and have a really bad throat because this was a day I was looking forward to for the last 3 years and it's just come at this moment. And all we're going to talk today about is Mr. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And to talk about him, and I have two sad faces, or one moderately sad and one very sad. Yes, the moderately sad guy, what's up?
It's all good, buddy. Carrick's at the wheel.
Yo, God, it doesn't even rhyme properly. And then we have Manav, our friend from Hong Kong, who stayed awake to record this podcast. Manav, you are gutted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad that things didn't work out with Uday, but yeah.
But you knew this day would come, right?
Yeah, but not at the beginning of the season, probably, because the way he ended both the last seasons, I really thought he'd be able to manage the players for yet another season. But I just think it was the excess burden from the good spend in the transfer market this summer, which sort of pushed onto. A similar thing happened to Lampard last year. Just because Lampard had spent so much in the transfer window, the expectations, of course, increased and he was not able to sort of fulfill that.
Yes, don't spend money, keep your manager on. Why is that a bad strategy?
Because you'll end up being Arsenal then.
They're spending so much money now.
Yeah, they're spending so much. I mean, they have been spending so much for the last 7 years.
Yeah, but what went wrong? Yes, poor guy. You guys hounded him out of the club.
No, man. I mean, United fans were with him throughout. Even gave an exit interview where he praised the United
Dude, let's
fans.
get to that in some time. My God, that was so embarrassing. What the Why? Why would you do that? But anyway, what went wrong? Why did they lose to Liverpool so badly?
No, but Liverpool is a good team. You can lose as badly. The problem was losing to Watford this way. I mean, people would argue that's the straw that broke the camel's back. But all the weaknesses were, up there. His strengths were man management and inspiring the squad to play better, etc. But I guess it went stale. Plus, Manav has already mentioned about the big spend and a number of other things coming together, which
like is Bruno going in on public and telling that we need our coaching staff to upgrade as well.
No, I know. I was referring more towards Maguire and Shaw. It's possibly the final they lost, the Euro final that they lost, or something else which has just turned them into less than half the players they were last season. And a bunch of other bad things somehow United, or I don't know whether it's Ole's decision, but somehow United have not upgraded in the central midfield area, which is central to most teams' gameplay.
No, from what I read, Ole wanted it, but Ole is not the sort of manager. If he doesn't get something, he will basically just create a scene. Yeah. We know who we're talking about here. So, yeah, maybe you were okay with it. But, dude, it seems I heard Mark Ogden say this or something. It seems in the summer, they asked Ole, get any coach you want in the world, to enhance your coaching team and just take use of him. And Ole said, I wouldn't do that. I have the best coaching staff available with me, which kind of is a man not knowing his own limitations, I would assume.
Yeah, that's probably true because, there was one addition made, but maybe that's not senior coaching staff. There was a defensive or set piece coach that was added. And I've mentioned many times where I don't think McKenna, Phelan and Carrick were adequate resources at his disposal to augment whatever his ideas were on the pitch. And United, in the Ferguson era, Ferguson was a 20th century manager and he had a number of tactically competent people helping him like Queiroz and Wallenstein and all. And this was not the case here, clearly.
Oh, there was one more thing, Manav, I read. I mean, I didn't know all of this, but it seems Solskjaer was taking the Fergie approach of the last years, where he used to not take training a lot of times and he used to let Carrick and McKenna just get on with things. And I think what Ole forgot was the first 25 years of Fergie's life at United, where he was there early in the morning taking training. So, obviously, everything comes out, and some things you have to take with a pinch of salt. But my question is, what the is this club doing? Like, it seems they knew that they had to sack him at the end of the Liverpool game. And they want to appoint an interim manager before a permanent manager. And these couldn't even get an interim manager in place while they sacked him.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. And I mean, the time at which the Spurs game came, I mean, both the clubs were at such a similar situation. And see, very frankly, if you are sacking a manager mid-season, especially a club of this size who is competing for the top four, who has been in the top four for the last couple of years, you need to have a plan in place. For example, when Spurs sacked Nuno, I am 100% sure that Levy and that Paratici, the Italian guy, they would have had Conte on the phone, agreed at least verbally. Only then they would have sacked Nuno.
Yes, that is why he joined 5 days later.
Correct. And here in this case, when they sacked Ole, you knew there was no plan. And another thing is, it was end of September when we lost that game to Aston Villa at home. And it has been going only downhill since then. So you would expect the board to have at least one backup plan in mind.
So their backup plan was hire Carrick as interim before you appoint the real interim, and while you're searching for the proper one.
Exactly. So now, even if that statement which they've released after the sacking of Solskjaer clearly means that at best you are going to get if I have to draw a parallel, then a Chelsea equivalent of Gus Hiddink, right?
You are not.
Tuchel was given an 18-month contract, right?
Yes.
When he signed. But now, no. If somebody signs for United, he'll be given only a 6-month contract. Is what the statement says. So you cannot even approach somebody as per the statement, even if what rumors are saying, even if Pochettino wants to come, you will not give Pochettino a 6-month contract, right?
You make interesting points. Yes. Have you written to info@manchesterunited.com?
No. I mean, who sends emails these days? You have to tweet it out.
Why don't you tweet them? मैं ready है 6 महीने के लिए. I will do it. And I will.
But I think they'll prefer Carrick to me. I'm assuming.
What do you make of Paul Scholes abusing Carrick and McKenna for not resigning on their own?
But this is not an original point. People have been saying this for a while. This is whatever. I'm surprised that Carrick played alongside Scholes for so many years and he's decided to be so harsh toward him.
Who is a better friend?
God knows. But it has to be Ole because they met much earlier in life.
Exactly. So that's how it is. Now, if you, me, and Manav fight, I will take your side, man. So, what is
thanks for the heads up.
So, just don't fight with Yash, Manav. That's all. Yeah, but they asked Carrick after the match against Villarreal yesterday. Paul Scholes has abused you so much. And Carrick it's like amazing how this one of the biggest clubs in the world works. Carrick says, I called Solskjaer and I kind of got his blessing that I should take care of the team and everything. Like, what the is going on? Why is Solskjaer giving blessings? And let's club with that, his exit interview. Manu, why would you ask the fired manager to give exit interview on the website? What is going on, man?
That clearly means you want to hire him again after 10 years. So you just want to end on an emotional note. I mean, all over social media, all the Man United fans, stop cutting onions, this, that. I mean...
What? What is this? I don't know.
It was funny.
Stop cutting onions.
it was funny and emotional at the same time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but come on. Yes, come on. At some point, the sense had to prevail at somewhere. No, why are you taking exit interviews like this? First of all, you fired the guy. At least let him mourn in peace. Why are you making him cry for views?
No, the only thing
I don't know. It might have been his idea to do this interview rather than go out the back door or something, as he said.
So go out and then come to Sky Sports a month later and say whatever you have to say.
But I don't know. This is just possibly so Ole wants to have a better, keep his relationship with United fans because he was being United
it would have
guy
been
forever.
It would have been a pre-agreed thing that at least the image of Ole as a legend of the club should not get ruined because of this.
But it won't. Why would it get ruined?
I don't know. That's probably their opinion. So, yeah.
Okay. And one more thing about this. Oh, God, I even forgot. Yes, I was listening on another podcast. It seems Harry Maguire, after the 4-1 loss to Watford, went out to party and celebrate his dad's birthday. And his entire family was posting pictures on social media. And the point was is there no one competent in the club saying, boss, you do whatever the you want? Can you get your family to not post shit like celebrations? Jeez, the shambles that this is. Anyway, so Darren Fletcher hasn't come and said anything yet. So should we take that he's still the director of football or it's just a decorative role?
I couldn't care less.
No, obviously you couldn't care less, but why is the club hiring just random people and keeping them on payroll if they don't have anything to do?
No, it's not random
they must have a lot of things to do, man.
He's the director of football. Isn't one of his jobs to get an interim manager?
No, he's director of football operations, I think. I don't think
what is that?
The more words you use in your title, the lower in the rung you are in a company. So he's just a pencil pusher and some guy to put out a statement at some point of time. This is an important time for Manchester United, so there's no point Fletcher doing anything.
Sure. I am actually quite sad. Poor guy, Ole.
The day we signed an ex-player as a director of football, we were sure there is no hope.
There's nothing. I just pointed out he's director of football operations. So maybe he books busting and things.
And he's similar to Phil Jones on the field, who's technically never on the field. So
why can't Cristiano Ronaldo make some calls for interim managers? I'm sure he's good at it, no?
No, he would rather say मुझे ही बना दो यार.
Alright, among all this doom and gloom, what has happened is Michael Carrick has taken over. He placed McFred, but I think he rests Luke Shaw, right?
Yep.
Luke Shaw, I think he got a concussion in the last match.
Yeah.
So in the dying minutes. So that's why he couldn't play in the midweek.
Sure.
So he rested Bruno. The bigger thing was Ole rested Bruno and played Van de Beek. Sorry, Carrick played. I'm still not over that phase.
Why could Carrick keeps talking a lot to Ole during the match? Why couldn't he say this to Ole at some point in the last 6 weeks? Bhai Bruno ko rest kar de.
Just imagine looking at Carrick. Do you think he's kind of the guy who'll just walk up to his boss and say, "Yaar, tu ye mat kar, ye mera suggestion." He doesn't even look like that guy. He seems such a soft guy. He seems, Carrick.
Well, he and McKenna have fired 2 managers, so they're not very soft. They're very, very competent people.
They've got 2 managers fired. That's a different thing.
Yeah. So yes, why couldn't Carrick just tell this to Ole? By rest Bruno, we have Van der Beek.
Because possibly that was not a very good idea. For the first 70 minutes when Bruno was not on the pitch, United were easily the second best team on the pitch.
Really? I didn't watch the game. So
De Gea pulled off a couple of miraculous saves, and United had 30% or below that possession. It was just Villarreal all through. And towards the end, United managed to slice them open a couple of times when Bruno came on the pitch. And Ronaldo inevitably scored a goal, and a second goal where
Jadon Sancho scored.
Sancho scored his first step. Was a brilliant goal. Yes.
Yeah.
So
did they play him on the right?
Yes.
Yes,
That-
yes. On the right.
Sometimes you have to just do the commonsensical things, and I think people just got up.
And even I think Jadon Sancho's cross for the only goal we scored against Watford was amazing. So he
Yeah.
crossed a beautiful cross into Ronaldo, who was at the far post, who just sort of passed it on with his head to Van de Beek.
Oh yeah, Van de Beek is now emerging. Okay, anyway, who's going to be appointed interim? Yes, what are the rumors saying? I heard Ernesto Valverde.
Yeah, Valverde is a strong favorite right now for some reason, and I think the reason is that he's out of a job, and being a Barcelona coach for 3 years holds him in good stead for this sort of thing. And he might agree to that short contract which United are offering, and I don't think he's a bad choice at all.
Yeah, I actually quite like Valverde. He's a decent coach. The only thing is maybe he just doesn't know what to speak to Harry Maguire. So
Nobody does actually.
And what's up with Poch, Mana? Poch is supposedly under massive pressure under PSG, and he's like, "Oh God, I can't take this title-winning pressures on me. I need a club which doesn't give me such pressures."
See, United are not going to pay a severance fee for an interim manager. This I'm sure of.
No, but if
They
they
would
hire him,
rather
it will be
ask-
on a 2.5-year contract.
Yeah, but no, I don't think so. United might consider signing Pochettino if he gets sacked first by PSG. I don't think they are going to pay the severance pay to anybody in this world right now.
Yes, yeah. What is this? Give me some rumors.
Dude,
What's
I
going
think
on?
everything depends on what the great Zinedine Zidane does. If he's ready to manage PSG right now, then they'll kick Poch out and Poch will be jobless and United can then grab him.
Zidane basically
So yeah, today also they need an excuse to sack him. Today they're playing Manchester City. This might be an excuse if they get slapped.
Go Pep,
And-
come on.
And there's a chance that PSG may be knocked out of group stages.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean Neymar, Messi, Mbappe will play
I mean-
in Europa?
I mean, of course, it depends on the other results on the group also. But yeah, there is a possibility.
Okay, so basically Poch is not coming. Zidane, I think, wants the French national team job. He's waiting for Deschamps to fuck up in the next World Cup and probably take that. And he genuinely doesn't want to move away from Madrid. He has his house there settled. I think he wants to just lead a chilled out life. I don't think Manchester or PSG is like too much for him.
No, but I mean he doesn't have to learn another language if he goes to Paris. And Paris to Madrid isn't that far. He'll manage that.
Nice.
And
If it
another
comes
thing
to that.
is, I don't think there is any sort of, if I have to look from a sort of a recruiting point of view, I don't think there are many job opportunities for Zidane in Spain other than Madrid. That
Yeah,
also.
But he
Yeah,
doesn't
so-
want them. You're not getting the point. He only wants the French national team job.
Yeah, but I don't know. Deschamps, I don't know.
You're talking like he's some senior software engineer from Infosys that is desperate to look out for a job. He's not, dude.
No,
He's,
but the French national team is still 1 year away, right? He can,
Right.
I don't know.
so in between he'll get PSG.
Because
one
the
more
World Cup
Champions League.
is not in the summer, right? It's in
It's
the
in
winter.
the
so
winter.
it's-
Yeah.
Deschamps
Yeah.
is not, I mean, France qualified, so Deschamps is not going to get sacked meanwhile.
Not till then. So maybe he'll just win PSG a Champions League in May, resign, wait for Deschamps to get sacked, and just go there.
Yeah, he anyways knows how to win Champions League from mid-season.
Yeah. Dude, all in all, a very sad day. I can see it on both your faces. You guys didn't want it to come here, but as from Frank Lampard experience, I can tell you that this day was inevitable. It just came too long away. They should have even given him contract after Paris only. I hope Rio Ferdinand.
Come on,
again
Sadly.
never-
Yeah, he finished third and second after that contract. With the team he had, that is definitely an achievement. Had we won that penalty shootout against Villarreal,
I'm not
nobody
even
would
blaming
have
him for
spoken.
penalty shootout, dude. One missed kick and people are dissecting it so much. That's not even the point, no. But I don't think he was ever equipped to handle Manchester United.
No, but see, there's a different thing, and I would draw a sort of a comparison with the Australian cricket team. Everybody talks about Justin Langer and Tim Payne not being the right people, etc. And I'm not trying to bring in the T20 World Cup win at all. The crisis in which Australian cricket team were after the Cape Town scandal it's a two-step process to become a champion. First, you need somebody to pull you out of that mess and bring you to ground level, which Justin Langer and Tim Payne have done brilliantly well. They are not the right people to take it forward to make them a championship winning team. Similar to Manchester United, they were in a mess when Mourinho left. You needed a guy like Ole to bring them to ground level, but Ole is not the person who will win you championships.
Yeah, but Ole
So you
left
need
them
somebody else.
Ole left them in the same position as Mourinho left them. Six.
No,
Six.
position doesn't matter, but the squad and everything, the quality of players, the quality of team, and the bonding within the squad is still good enough.
Yeah, that's because Mourinho, like Ole told Luke Shaw, you're a good guy.
Mourinho lost the dressing room. Ole didn't lose the dressing room.
So what happens to Paul Pogba? Is he still going? What's the scene? He did even thank Ole on Instagram.
If he stays now, I'd be very surprised. He has to go. I mean, signing a contract extension after November does not make any sense.
So that's fine.
Especially when you don't know who the next manager
Let me
is.
check. What did he say? I know Harry Maguire said, you brought me to the club, you're a good guy, and all of that. And
Even Ronaldo posted a picture, but he didn't sort of thank him much. He was like, you were a player with me. I started playing at Manchester United when you were here. Now you've coached me also, something on those lines. It was not like you're going to miss me or something. I mean, I'm going to miss you or something.
there is no post by Paul Pogba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, he at least hasn't put up a cryptic, almost making fun of type post as he did for Mourinho.
But he put a post called CryptoDragons.com. It isn't cryptic. Oh, and he's posted "Well done, boys" to the Will Big yesterday. Anyway.
Oh, is that why crypto is going down from the last few days? Because Paul Pogba put a post.
God, you guys have such anti-Pogba. Anyway, let's get done with Ole. The chapter is done and dusted. I think next year he'll be back at Molde. And he will rejoin his friend and start buying players and taking 50% commission when they sell him. So Ole has a good life. It's okay. Let's not worry too much about him. Let's take a break right now. You guys saw some football, right, over the weekend. As you know, I was very busy. So I am like hoping you guys have seen some good football. So we'll talk about it when we come back from the break.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, author Shrabani Basu joins Cyrus. They discuss her latest book, The Mystery of the Parsi Lawyer, Arthur Conan Doyle, George Idalji, and The Case of the Foreigner in the English Village. We have another new show launching this week, Wars and Warriors, narrated by Air Vice Marshal Arjun Subramaniam. We're launching this podcast to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the India-Pakistan War of 1971. The podcast is on wars and conflicts in the history of independent India. Tune in to hear some of the fiercest battles that our men and women at the borders have had to brave through. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth shares the concepts of top-down camp and bottom-up camp. These are different approaches to incorporate changes in one's lifestyle. On Tere Mere Raste, Keshav takes us to the nursery of temples, Aihole and Patatakal, the spiritual and religious center of the erstwhile Chalukya Empire. And on Marathi Kirkitun, Dr. Rajiv and Manik Deshmukh, Dr. Preeti Pottar, they discuss her contribution to audiovisual media. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, do check out our various YouTube channels. You can catch them on IVM Podcast/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Flay Coffee, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
All right. Welcome back to Football Twaddle. I want to start with only one thing. Yes, our club hired a manager. He got COVID. And then we drew 3-3 with Brentford, which is a good result given that at least we didn't lose. But what the man? Why is bad luck striking our club?
It's okay. I think all the bad luck should be exhausted in the first few days, first few weeks rather, and then we'll be fine.
What? That's all you have to say? Are you not going to moan about it, cry about it?
No. I mean, we went through such difficult times.
Hire an interim manager for the time that Eddie Howe has COVID.
Manav, please don't make fun of our elite club like this. We have a plan.
How does January look for your club? Who is the club linked with in January transfer window?
No, more than that, I think I think they are actually looking at relegation as a serious possibility. And dude, genuinely, if you hear Amanda's interview at the club thing, they asked the question, like, we are not in a good position. She said yes, and none of us have been in a situation where something we own or a club we own is going to get relegated or something. One of the other things we like about Eddie is he knows how to manage tough situations. So I don't know how much they're going to spend, but they have to spend. But the good thing, Yash, is Jamal, Lascelles, Joelinton, Alan, Shane Maximo, all of them scored. Our big boys are going for it now.
Yes, that's true. I mean, it was I don't think the club would have done this before the takeover. They clearly would have bottled this situation when they had gone a goal down in the 61st minute. So yeah, so the best player that we have, Alan Saint-Maximin, scored the equalizer in the 75th minute, and that was good.
Yeah, and they could have won it also with some luck, but that still puts Newcastle on 20th position. And yes, bhai, when? Can you give a date in which we'll have our first victory?
No, first victory will be it. Who are we playing next week?
We are playing the Arsenal.
Arsenal, I don't think so. Maybe the
which Revolution is going to win?
No. Yeah. We play our bitter rivals Norwich on 1st December. That will be the day.
Yeah, that's an easy victory. I can just see it. Yeah, going by Mano's two-step process of hiring an interim to clean out the mess and then hiring a real guy to do the job. Future Arsenal manager Patrick Vieira, Mano. Do you like him? He's been getting some results. They're playing attacking football and all the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the top 4 also, I think. I mean, some top half of the table last I saw. And of course, that victory against Manchester City came out of almost nowhere. And that really helped them, those 3 points. And of course, their performances have also been good. There was a statistic, I think, Christian Benteke has scored more goals than... I think I'm forgetting the name, but he was being named in the elite players who have scored around, I think, 85-90 goals in the Premier League now. Christian Benteke.
Yeah, but Benteke has been around for a long time, you know?
Yeah, but he still somehow goes under the radar. No, if you talk about Premier League strikers.
That's because he played for Liverpool. Anyone who's touched by Anfield is just burnt.
Ask Andy Carroll.
Yeah, look at Andy Carroll didn't even want to leave Newcastle, boss. They forced him to go to Liverpool. And poor guy just like that. Look at Gerrard, even he had to slip. Like no one's left. Only Salah is the one good guy from Liverpool. But Crystal Palace gave 3 goals against Burnley. I think Burnley scored 6 goals in the season and they scored 3 that day. So it seems like a good thing. Manchester City and Chelsea, yes, they are relentless. What the
No, but someone has to be at the top of the title leading the charge, right? So it is these two teams who are of great quality. And I mean, I'm happy this result happened because Brendan was getting linked to Manchester United. I hope this result sort of dissuades any
Come on. Okay, if you had to choose between Brendan and Poch, those are your choices. Who would you go for?
Poch, dude, easily.
You don't even know football.
But yeah, I saw the Chelsea-Leicester match, and the highlight in the match for me was Conte's goal. I mean, what a goal was that!
Dude, I mean, but Conte
never expected him to shoot from there. That also weak foot.
Even he didn't expect him to shoot from there, and that is why in the next match he had to be substituted after 28 minutes because his foot couldn't take it. He's gone for toss. Mano, Arsenal I thought was going to take a point at least against Liverpool, and then supposedly Arteta just lost his mind, and that's the reason Liverpool won.
Yeah, I think Arteta and Klopp had some touchline.
You think? You haven't seen that or what?
No, I did. I mean, as far as I can remember, since it's been now 3-4 days since that match. But Liverpool were just too good on the day.
But do you think that fight is the reason they won Liverpool? As our another contributor Azim seems to think so.
No, man, it's fun to tease Arsenal fans like that, but I think that little to do with the result. I mean, Liverpool were much
Yeah.
better. As I mentioned in previous week's podcast, I felt that Liverpool are going to put Arsenal in their place.
Okay. Who has been your
Okay,
player of the
I have the Christian Benteke stat here. Christian Benteke now has 86 Premier League goals, more than Fernando Torres, Luis Saha, and Eden Hazard. He is just one Premier League goal behind Dennis Bergkamp and just 2 Premier League goals behind Cristiano Ronaldo.
Dude, if that doesn't fire up Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't know what will.
I mean, the last thing which sort of tried to the last player who tried to get into his nerves was Andros Townsend with that celebration at Old Trafford.
Yeah. Oh, dude, but I can't believe it. Cristiano scored only 87 goals at Old Trafford.
Yeah, because he
Did he
used to
score like
primarily
17
play
one
as a
season or something?
no. He
40.
used to play primarily as a winger. 42 goals came in a single season in which he won the Ballon d'Or, but that was all competition. So
Yeah,
Premier
okay.
League would be even lesser.
I
He
remember-
only has one. He only has one hat trick in Premier League. That also against your beloved club, Newcastle.
Newcastle. I know, but it's okay. Those times were different. Ask him to try to score now. And then we'll see. Yes, who has been your player of the week? We're going to have only 2 because I genuinely haven't seen anything. So,
I'm going to say Donny van de Beek for scoring the last goal in Ole's career as a manager, because I mean, the irony of it is just
so is it
Right
the
there.
condolence goal?
yeah.
He's like, take this. Now you don't select me. Yeah, that's good. Poor guy. But Van de Beek has been playing well, no? Whenever he's come on.
Yeah, he's been decent.
But he has barely come on. So
Yeah, he's not played much, so the jury is still out there. He obviously has much better ball control than people like Fred and McTominay. So he looks good he's like easy on the eye. But I don't know,
Yeah.
he hasn't made that much impact on many of the games.
Yeah, I remember Baru once telling on the podcast about some Arsenal players. He says we want our players to be injured because then we live in hope कि ये होता तो ना अच्छा होता. And when they come back from injury, they realize how shit they are. Like so, we don't mind people being injured. It always gives you hope. So Van de Beek is one of that guys. Mano, who stood out for you?
I think N'Golo Kante. I mean, that goal, I just love that goal. Coming from a midfielder, I mean, being a Man United fan, I have not seen a midfielder score that goal in like ages. So yeah, N'Golo Kante will be the player of the week for me.
All right, quickly moving on. Yes, your game to look forward to.
The game to look forward to.
Come on, just say it. Chelsea versus Manchester United. The new era has begun.
Yeah, okay, let's go for Chelsea versus Manchester United.
Yeah, and Chelsea have considered only 5 goals this season.
Like
right?
United haven't appointed the next manager so far because they don't want him to have the pressure of the Chelsea game, I think.
No,
Yeah.
if they had appointed him by Thursday, Friday, also he wouldn't have taken charge on Sunday. He would have watched the game from stands and he would have he would have done all that. So,
Who cares? The name gets associated with the club, right? At that point.
acha,
Once
aise.
you know.
Mano, so that game's
Yeah.
gone. So
Yeah.
what's your prediction, by the way, Yash, for that?
I think 2-0 for a 2-0 win for Chelsea. I think it will be. It's a Stamford
Yes.
Bridge. So.
My second favorite club among the top 10 in England.
I think it will be a 3-1 win to Chelsea.
Come on, you guys are so pessimistic. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those dodgy 1-0 penalty games which Cristiano is going to score. And I expect a lot of chat on WhatsApp. Isn't Anthony Taylor the referee for that game?
Yeah, but people moan so much about this one guy, man.
Oh, no, dude. It's not people. It's the rabid fans that we are. Yeah. Mano, what's your game to watch?
I think City versus West Ham will be an interesting one.
Yeah, this City always...
Moyes tends to do well away from home in the big grounds ever since he has, except that one season at Man United. He has done well.
That was a very
at
big ground,
the
not big ground.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good game. City versus West Ham.
Oh, yeah. Talking about David Moyes, I didn't realize he had one trophy with Manchester United, the Community Shield.
Yeah.
So his start was like amazing.
Yeah.
Was it Swansea or Wigan?
I don't
Okay.
really care. I just
Or-
saw him lift a community
Yes.
shield. So,
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it was Wigan. Yeah, it was Wigan.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those clubs.
Wigan of Roberto Martinez after they won FA Cup and got relegated.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Although Martinez had moved on to Everton by then.
Yeah, but we know he's what he's done.
Yeah.
We remember. All right, I am going to watch.
So guess who was the man of the match in that Community Shield final?
Okay, say it while I'm thinking what game to watch.
Michael Carrick.
Oh.
It's a vicious circle.
Oh man. Anyway, I think I'll watch Norwich versus Wolves. अच्छा ही होगा. And whatever, it's just a random game.
Right.
And I think it's a no pressure game. The WhatsApp
Yeah.
chat also will be quiet.
What's happening with your other love child, Saruvia, Atletico?
Atletico, they won finally on the weekend. So they are on the
Okay.
fourth. They are on the fourth position, and they are basically 3 points. See, Atletico is fourth with 26 points, and they are 4 points below Real Madrid. So yeah, but they're playing quite bad, and I think Simeone's time. He's just like underutilizing all of them. But the one other game, if you don't want to watch the Norwich one, is Real Madrid versus Sevilla. Or that will be a good one.
Yeah. that'd be
Okay.
And I think I will somehow drag Yash to watch that game somewhere.
Let's-
And Manav, what time is
Yeah.
it in Hong Kong?
11:30.
Have you met the Rabbit United fans of Hong Kong?
No, man. Everyone's a Liverpool fan here somehow.
No, that can't be true.
No, there are just so many of them.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought
full of Liverpool fans.
that is quite surprising. I thought
Yeah.
Manchester United
So-
would be the.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of people wearing Man United jerseys and jackets. I just tried talking to them also, but they didn't seem to know which jacket they're wearing. So,
Well, yes, are you also randomly accosting people wearing your club's jerseys in the streets of Matunga and asking, what club is this?
No. I assume they're well versed with the lore.
Alrighty, guys. Take care.
All right.
Bye, Yash.
Bye.
And
bye-bye.
bye, Mano. And take care, guys. It's a new beginning. The Carrick's time is now on. So,
Yeah.
another 2.5 years of this will be so
Alright.
much fun.
Right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood,
Get accustomed to womanhood.
enjoy the experience of sisterhood,
Might get to wifehood
or not, choose motherhood,
or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
earn a livelihood,
Change the neighborhood.
and get rid of the falsehood that life post academia is easy.
So join me, Ritasha,
And me, Ayushi,
on a journey from station starting point.
to station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station, and hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.
Do you wonder why China does the things that it does? Or want to know how we could improve online privacy? Or perhaps you're thinking about how we can kickstart India's economy? If you'd like to search for the answers to such questions, check out All Things Policy, a daily public policy podcast that covers everything from employment figures to aircraft carriers. Tune in from Monday to Friday for new episodes and fresh takes.